What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. Actually, this is a midnight video. I'm gonna have to stop doing that very soon. We're gonna look at the Holy Paladin talent trees from midnight. I'm just gonna cover the massive amount of changes that have come through on the talent tree. I'm gonna try and keep this video quick, so let's just dive right into it. We're gonna start on the class tree, and I'm gonna start with the main thing, which is that Divine Toll and Holy Prism apparently share a node now. Now, this isn't showing up for us on the tree, and for some reason, it's just not kind of there. So it's supposed to be there. I'm not sure if it's actually going to end up being deleted, Holy Prism, but for now, Divine Toll and Holy Prism are supposed to be on this tree right here as a choice node. Now, if you understand how these two spells work, it doesn't really make any sense because Divine Toll generates 5 holy power on top of healing everybody. Holy Prism doesn't generate any holy power at all. So there's a real obvious choice here, right? Both of the spells will heal your allies, but one of them gives you 5 holy power. So I think Divine Toll is the obvious choice here. Whether or not we see them reintroduced Holy Prism somewhere, I'm not really sure if that's going to happen. Speaking of Holy Prism not being here, all of the healers moving into Midnight are getting like pared down, consolidated. A bunch of their abilities are going passive or just getting deleted altogether. An example for Holy Paladin is going to be Tears Deliverance is now a passive that activates when you press your wings. So Resto Druid has like a passive F-Flow now. There's a bunch of really interesting consolidation going on. Blizzard is essentially trying to make the regular spells that you cast as a healer very, very powerful. And all of the massive amounts of cooldowns that we have, they're reducing them down. So that we're actually using our cooldowns in meaningful moments when we need them. We're going to have to see how that works out in the real game. Resto Shamans are down bad right now, but I think they're going to get changed. So back to Paladin. We have Divine Toll here. There's a talent here, Divine Resonance. This reduces the cooldown of your Holy Prism, Holy Armaments, and Divine Toll. Sorry, this reduces it by 15 seconds. This casts a Holy Shock. This is actually interesting too. I'll get back to this in a second. But Quicken Invocation is the big one. It reduces the cooldown of your Holy Armaments on top of Divine Toll. So if you're playing Lightsmith, you can actually get 15 seconds off the cooldown of your Bulwark. And then if you went and took Forewarning, it actually ends up, it says 48 seconds, but imagine if we take 48 seconds and then we subtract 15, you're going to have a 33-second Holy Bulwark, which could be the new play. I mean, for forever now, we've been playing with this talent, which just gives you a chance to proc your armaments. I mean, maybe you go with the proc plus the 15 seconds from Quicken Invocation. Either way, this talent is straight up better for Lightsmith than it is for Herald. There's no real implications here for Herald, other than Dawnlight now procs from Divine Toll or Holy Prism, but again, I don't know where it is. So let's just say Divine Toll for now. And you can make Divine Toll a 45-second cooldown if you want to, which is nice. That gives you more Dawn Lights being spread out, all that kind of stuff, right? So there's that. And then Divine Resonance is also really interesting. It, of course, casts a Holy Shock. You get 3 Holy Shock casts after you press Divine Toll, but also after you press a Holy Armament. So, like, again, you could do a Lightsmith build where you're throwing out an armament and then you just start getting Holy Shocks. Then you press Divine Toll and then you get Holy Shocks. Then you throw an armament and you get Holy Shocks going out randomly. And then there's a new talent underneath Aura Mastery that casts Divine Toll once again when you press Aura Mastery, which you could then get multiple casts of Holy Shock going off again. So Divine Resonance might actually have a place here given the number of random Holy Shocks you can get with Lightsmith. Now, I still think Quicken Invocation is going to be the way to go, but there's sort of a massive decision point to be made right here already on the tree. So it's very interesting there. A lot of the rest of the talents are the same. They're honestly by the bottom, there really isn't too much that's actually changed here at all. The major one that I want to look at is this talent up here, Hammer of Wrath. So Hammer of Wrath is now a baseline ability, and then this talent says, during Avenging Wrath, Judgment is empowered into Hammer of Wrath. And this is really crazy. This is really crazy implications for the spec tree. I apologize for the way my window is. I can't make my window cover the entire screen or else the whole thing gets trippy. So we're just going to leave it the way it is. So inside Avenging Wrath, either your 2-minute wings or your 1-minute wings, you're now going to have Judgment be replaced by Hammer of Wrath. That has really big implications because Your Hammer and Anvil healing is going to have to proc off of Hammer of Wrath now. Hammer of Wrath baseline does about 2 times the damage that Judgment does. Okay, your Greater Judgment, I'm assuming, is going to apply to Hammer of Wrath, which again is pretty cool. Your Infusion procs, which are now at the top of the tree here. This is now a talent that you take on the tree. It used to be a passive. You can increase the effectiveness of the Greater Judgment by 150%. And again, that's going to now apply to Holy Hammer of Wrath if you're doing it that way. And then Veneration has now been changed massively to provide shields. Every time you throw Hammer of Wrath, it provides shields to your allies. And this is a theme that's happening with Holy Paladin now. Shields on shields on shields, okay? We have Veneration providing shields. We have Glistening Radiance, which says people who have your beacons on them generate shields passively. And then we have, this is the big one, Seraphic Barrier. Your Word of Glory and Light of Dawn grant allies an absorb shield equal to 10% of the healing that it does. So you're going to get shields from your spenders. You're going to get shields from all of your Hammer of Wraths. And if you continue to proc, you're going to get shields from your beacons. And now you're going to get your Apex talent gives you another beacon, by the way, Beacon of the Savior, which you can talent into an additional shield. And then you could play Lightsmith and get Bulwark. So the amount of shields that you're going to have for your allies is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Also, Saved by the Light is shielding as well. I forgot about that one. So there's just a ridiculous amount of shields that are coming in. And it's going to be kind of like old school Holy Paladin where their mastery used to give shielding. It's kind of got that feeling. I think it's probably going to get nerfed to a degree. This is just shields in World of Warcraft always get nerfed. They always do because they're always too strong. It's just the way it goes. But anyway, that's kind of what's happening. And this talent has incredible implications now for Veneration, because if you play melee wings, Avenging Crusader, you can throw your Hammer of Wrath now instead of your Judgment. It's going to give everybody shields. You press Crusader Strike, it cools down Hammer of Wrath. You throw it again, it gives everybody shields. You understand the cycle that I'm going for here, right? Like, this is really crazy, this kind of cycle. You could just be generating absorb shields for your team, like really, really crazy. The other thing on top of that is that Awakening has completely changed. While in combat, your Holy Power spenders have a 10% chance to cause your next Judgment to deal double damage and crit. It does not activate wings anymore. This is a massive deal. It doesn't activate wings, but it still can give you this double damage and crit, which again, let's say you're inside melee wings, which activating Avenging Wrath gives you an Awakening proc, right? So you press melee wings, and then you immediately press Hammer of Wrath. It does double damage, it crits, it heals everybody through Veneration, and it heals everybody through Hammer and Anvil. And if you had 4 beacons on everybody, the healing from Veneration, at least, will transfer, and the healing from Avenging Crusader itself will transfer into your beacon. So, like, there's going to be some incredibly strong moments, I would say, for Holy Paladin when you pop melee wings and you throw that first Hammer of Wrath. It's just going to deck your whole team. Like, it's going to be really strong, in my opinion. So that is really cool to see. Yeah, I've touched on that for a while, but this implication is just really strong. And then the shielding is also really strong as well. This is a big one. Getting a Divine Toll from your Aura Mastery is going to make Aura Mastery finally feel like a really good cooldown, in my opinion. Not that it isn't, you know, you're always using Aura Mastery anyway, and it's one of the best like raid cooldowns you can ever have. But getting a Divine Toll at the same time is incredible. And the wording of this is important. Activating Aura Mastery casts Divine Toll. It casts it. So any of the functionality that you have with Divine Toll is now going to be also active as soon as you hit Aura Mastery, i.e. your Herald of the Sun is going to proc, because it procs from Divine Toll now. You're going to get 6 additional Dawn Lights. So you could start a fight by pressing Divine Toll yourself and then spreading all your Dawn Lights, and then hit Aura Mastery, and you get a second round of Dawn Lights, which is disgusting. So this is a very good talent. Very, very good. Of course, it's going to generate 5 holy power as well. So the implications of this is actually just really, really big. You might want to take the 30-second cooldown on Aura Mastery, potentially. We're going to take Saved by the Light. We're going to take Light's Protection. This is the same. This is the same. Light of the Martyr is still here. Divine Glimpse is here, giving more crit chance to Judgment, which also is going to give increased crit chance to Hammer of Wrath now, which is really good because of the way that that's going to work inside wings. You have Tyrion's Devotion, which just gives you 50% CDR now on Lay on Hands, and it gives you your mana back like it did before, but it just is very simple, 50% CDR now on Lay on Hands, which is pretty cool if you're in the Lightsmith tree, I would say, because not only are you going to cut this in half, it's like a 7-minute cooldown. It goes down to like 3.5 minutes, I think, right? And then on top of that, you're going to go over here and you're going to grab Laying Down Arms, which says every time an armament fades, you get 15 seconds off the cooldown of Lay on Hands. So if you're playing Lightsmith, you could realistically have a consistent like 2 to 3 minute Lay on Hands, which is really cool. Moment of Compassion is still here. Resplendent Light is still here. Again, as I said, Infusion of Light is here. So there's a new Inflorescence down here, which just Inflorescence used to give you like 1 additional charge of Infusion and a bunch of buffs to Infusion. All the buffs that Inflorescence gave you have been baked into Infusion baseline. So even if you don't take Inflorescence, you're getting a stronger Infusion than what you used to get. Much stronger, which is really cool. That's also awesome to see. The Radius of Light of Dawn, you're going to notice it says Radius of Light of Dawn up by 10 yards and increases its healing by 10%. Light of Dawn is now an AoE like circle around you. I'll throw in some footage right here of somebody else doing it because I can't get on the alpha. But it basically is in a 360 circle around your character. So now Breaking Dawn doesn't have to increase the range of it by like 40 yards. You only have to increase the range of it by a small amount. So Light of Dawn is now massively changed. It's got a 15-yard radius on its own. You can buff that to 25 yards if you want to. Here's Glistening Radiance once again. While at maximum health, targets with your Beacon of Light generate Absorb Shields equal to 1% of their health every 3 seconds. Very, very good. That's going to give you some consistent shields all the time. And it also means that if you put Beacon on people before the damage comes out, it's not as wasted. Does that make sense? Like if you pre-Beacon people, which you probably should be doing, it's not really wasted, which is really nice. I also, I don't think this works with Beacon of the Savior because this says, while at maximum targets with your Beacon of Light, generate Absorb Shields. So there's a difference, separation between the beacons there, okay? Beacon transfers more healing. Judgment has 100% chance to cast Consecration at a target's location. Good. This is different. Liberation has changed. Word of Glory and Light of Dawn have a chance equal to your haste to convert 20% of their healing into damage. So this used to give you mana back. It doesn't do that anymore. It just gives you more damage, which is kind of nice in Mythic Plus, I would say. We have Beacon of Faith and Beacon of Virtue. You're going to have to decide now if you want to do 2 Beacons of Faith that never have to be recast, right? Which is the advantage. You save mana. And then you have your 3rd Beacon of the Savior. So you can have 3 beacons, or you could have 6 beacons. You can have 5 temporarily, and then 1 that's kind of bouncing around all the time. This Beacon of the Savior just jumps to the nearest ally that has the lowest health in your group, and it stays on them until they don't have the lowest health anymore. So it's up to you if you want to have 5 beacons plus a savior or 2 beacons plus a savior. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not entirely sure. If you have a Beacon of Virtue on somebody, I think you can also have a Beacon of the Savior on that same person, which would mean that they're going to get Omega Giga healed, basically. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know that for sure. Empyrean Legacy, we talked about Veneration. It puts Absorb Shields on everybody now. One note for Veneration, Flash of Light is really the only button that will reset the cooldown of Hammer of Wrath now. It doesn't proc from Judgment anymore. So you're going to have less free resets, I would say, of Veneration, unless you're consistently using your infusion procs on instant Flash of Lights to get the procs. So it's going to be a slightly different playstyle there. Empyrean Legacy has completely changed. This is awesome. Judgment Critical Strikes empower your next Word of Glory to automatically activate Light of Dawn at 125% effectiveness. It's the same principle, but it's Judgment Critical Strikes, and it has no internal CD. From what I can read here, right? There's no internal CD. So you can just keep throwing your Judgments or your Hammer of Wraths, and they're going to keep, if they keep critting, you're going to keep empowering your next Word of Glory to automatically trigger a Light of Dawn. And remember, both of those spells are now going to put Absorb Shields on people for 10% of the healing you do. So even if you're like over healing, it's not the end of the world because you're going to put shields on people. So this might be a must-take talent. Unless there's a typo here and Blizzard just forgot to add the internal cooldown of like 20, or it was a 20-second cooldown, I think. It's not there anymore. So this is very strong, in my opinion. Very, very strong. I'm not sure if this free activated Light of Dawn can trigger things like Divine Purpose. I'm assuming that it can, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay. Still have Divine Revelations. Nothing's changed there. We have our wings. And then we have a really interesting talent underneath of it now over here called Call of the Righteous. So I'm going to put 2 points into this. Avenging Wrath cooldown is down by 30 seconds, so it becomes a 1.5 minute cooldown. Avenging Crusader goes down by 15 seconds, it becomes a 45-second cooldown, but their durations are reduced. So I think this is probably worth taking. I know this says 30-second cooldown on Avenging Crusader. That's wrong. It's a 45-second cooldown with this talent, and it lasts for 12 seconds. So the choice is going to have to be made about whether you think you need a shorter cooldown, depending on the fight, depending when the damage comes out. Like, all that stuff's going to matter, especially in a raid fight. But in Mythic Plus, it can matter too, where you're going through the dungeon and you're like, okay, the cadence of when I need my cooldown is like, it's fine for me to only have my cooldown once every 2 minutes, or it's like, no, I need my cooldown every minute and a half. Like, it's going to be up to you. This talent might be completely useless, and it could save you 2 points if you want to. You know, if you don't think you need the CDR for the dungeon, then whatever, don't take it, right? And then you could get like Reclamation, and you could go maybe Power of the Silver Hand down to Inflow or something if you wanted to, or you could go elsewhere, okay? Sanctified Wrath is the same. Avenging Wrath and Avenging Crusader reduce the Holy Shock's cooldown by 50%, have a 25% increased duration. That can help to counteract what you lose over here. So, for example, my Avenging Crusader only lasts for 12 seconds because of this talent. But then if I take Sanctified Wrath, I actually gained 3 seconds back. So then my Avenging Crusader is now a 45-second cooldown with a 15-second duration, which kind of means it's a 30-second cooldown in that sense, right? Because by the time you're done with your Avenging Crusader, you'll only have 30 seconds left on the cooldown again, right? So anyway, I don't know that you'll take Sanctified Wrath. I still think the New Awakening is very good, even though the New Awakening does not proc your wings for you. It's still very powerful to get a Judgment that's guaranteed to crit and does double damage. Like, it's just super strong. Again, if it's Hammer of Wrath, is even better. Seraphic Barrier. Again, I've talked about this. This is going to be a must-take talent, in my opinion. Then we have Glorious Dawn. It's still here. We still have Rising Sunlight, and we still have Pillars of Light. I have 3 talents left. What did I put them into over here? So Tears Deliverance is now passive, and Hand of Divinity is now passive. These are choice nodes with each other, of course. I don't think you're ever going to take either of these right now with the tuning, with the way it is with these abilities. So the tuning needs to increase massively, or else I don't think these are worth taking, even though they're passive now. And it's kind of cool that they're passive, but they're just not good enough, unfortunately. Inflorescence is still very strong if you're playing Lightsmith, in my opinion, because you can get Infusion of Light procs for free. Those Infusion of Light procs will be spent on Flash of Light, and Flash of Light will proc Veneration, and Veneration will shield everybody. It's this really good cycle, right? We still have our Light of the Martyr stuff, and then we have Power of the Silver Hand. That hasn't really changed. Reclamation is here. Truth Prevails is still here, and that's about it. Our new Apex talent, really quickly. Beacon of the Savior. While in combat, apply a Beacon of the Savior to the lowest health ally within 30 yards. That causes your direct healing to heal them for 30%. Beacon of the Savior transfers to the lowest health ally automatically, which is really cool. Really, really love that. Then you can increase the beacon actual transfer to 50%. This could become your strongest beacon, which is really crazy. And then the final talent, every 5 seconds, when Beacon of the Savior or when Beacon of the Savior transfers to a new injured target, they are granted an Absorb Shield that prevents a certain amount of damage and reduces their damage taken. It's very good. That shield could be really good. I feel like some of your talents are kind of taxed here. Like, all the talents that I have on the screen right here are ones that I think I would want to have. So what I'm thinking about doing right now is just skipping out on the buffs to Beacon of the Savior and putting my talent points elsewhere. But that might not be the play. I don't know. We'll have to think about it. This is not the video where I do a build for you. This is just where I wanted to talk about all the different changes. So I believe those are all the changes that are happening. The big one being, of course, Light of Dawn doesn't have to be aimed anymore. And then all the shields that are coming in are going to be massive. They're going to completely change how Holy Paladin feels. And I'm guessing it's going to make Holy Paladin really viable in the higher end Mythic Plus, where shields are incredibly valuable there. But the rest of the talents that we have here are largely the same. We're gonna have to wait and see. I think Holy Paladin lost some of the least amount of cooldowns of all the healers. Like, I think Holy Paladin is one of the better healers coming out of kind of the massive pruning that we've had on all of the healers. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from all of you down there. I'm going to continue to cover all the changes that are coming through in the War Within. I've got like Mistweaver Monk lined up. I have Survival Hunter that I'm looking at. There's a bunch that I'm looking at. So stay tuned for more videos on this, and I will continue to let you know kind of what's going on with Midnight. All right. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Let me know what you think down below. See you in the next one.